Hello, this is Sebastian Griffin. Sebastian Griffin taking one. I want to talk about a little bit about what happened here. Within this month, there are many leaders. In fact, there are many leaders I met when I fled Malaysia to Thailand. I met the president of China, which is Xi Jinping, and also President Trump. Now, President Trump came to me in Hat Yai, and without saying anything, the first thing he did was to shot me using a gun. He shot me on my head, literally trying to kill me. I do not know for what reason. My uncle was there, Lim Kok Tai was there, and Lim Kok Tai's son was there. So I do not know whether it's a conspiracy or what. As far as I know, Lim Kok Tai, they still owe me money dividends accumulated for 18 years since my grandfather passed away, my grandfather Lim Kok Tong. And also 10 years thereafter, my grandmother passed away also, the will effectively come into effect. But the thing here is that Lim Kok Tai did not fulfill his role as a trustee. By right, he's supposed to pay me dividend every month. But according to a teleconversation with him, which he called me, he told me the dividend that's supposed to pay to me, he paid to a wrong person. Paid to Teh Kian Bun instead of me. My name is Teh Kian Guan. My Chinese name is Teh Kian Guan. So I do not know what happened within the company. How come such a silly mistake can happen? According to him, also Teh Kian Bun is his son-in-law. So I think the funny thing is that Lim Kok Tai also wanted me to be his son-in-law, which I do not think it is necessary enough. Because I have to state this very clear, the inheritance inherited to me is because of my grandfather, not because of my mother or whoever, and not because I want to be his son-in-law or what. I do not even know his daughter. I don't no idea at all. So before he even introduced his daughter to me, I cannot accept any of his daughter. For sure, I do not like to have anything affiliated with the Lim family, including my mother. My mother shot me many times before. My mother, Esther Lim. She only came to me in 2022, and she was not very nice, not very amicable. In the sense that she always come to portray herself as a dominant figure that trying to always subjugate me, trying to I do not know what sort of mentality she has. She's trying to portray as a queen and portray me not as a prince but rather as a slave, which I cannot tolerate, especially in a democratic world. Now today I want to talk a little bit about my relationship with Singapore and other countries. I'm not asking Singapore for citizenship for sure. I used to work in Singapore for over 10 years time, actually more than 20 years, on and off, not continuously. I was in Dubai before, I was in Vietnam before, but my career is not smooth because it was constantly being sabotaged by my father's side of the family as well as my mother's side of the family. They wanted me to do business, but they did not reveal themselves. First, they did not reveal themselves. Second, they did not give me any money. In fact, when I open my business, they're trying to sabotage me, those cousins. So it was all sabotage all the way. There is zero financial existence, zero love, zero care, zero education. No love, no care, no anything. So I really do not know what does it mean by parents from their definitions, because I received no education from them, zero educations, and they also never give any money or any material, provide any financial, whether you call financial aid or obligation as a parents to me. Now, likewise for me now, I also never provide any financial, I'll call it allowance or what for my children. But the difference is that I have to state this very clear. None of my children's mothers, I do not know any of them. I do not know any of my mother's children, although Uh, the only thing that I know is that there's one from YTL, which is Yong Tiong Lei. There's one girl, probably is Francis Yo daughter. And then another one is probably from LBS. Uh, this Lam Mok Sang. This called Yu Tong. My daughter is Yu Tong, but the mother I do no idea. Yu Tong's mother. I call her Yu Tong mother. So I do not know her name. And then Carol. Carol is Dato Sri Tok Min Kin daughter. I think the second daughter, Carol Tok. None of them I know them personally. I never dated them before. No idea, no history at all. But somehow they got my babies, and I think YTL got two sons belong to me. If they are belong to me, I do not know. I remember when I graduated from Harvard University, Lim Yo Tiong Lei himself came to me, which is Francis Yo father, came to my graduations and talked about wanting me to be his granddaughter husband, but which I have no idea because I back then I don't even know who is Yong Tiong Lei. I only know he's a very prominent figure from Malaysia, but I do not know his real what sort of business he doing or whatever. No idea at all. Now today I want to talk a little bit about what happened to me personally, my experience. I do not know my father right until now. I do not know my father, but I know they are related to Tan Kah Kee. Descendant of Tan Kah Kee, which is a communist party, probably also involved in the Second World War, and it was banned by the British back then when the Malaya was under British colonial. It was called British Malaya. The British banned Tan Kah Kee from re-entering Malaya because of his communist status. He was a MCP, Malayan Communist Party member, and also CCP, Chinese Communist Party member. I think he passed away in Beijing, in China. They got a lot of universities. Even I think there's one university right now in this near Sepang area is also belong to them. I think they co-founded the university. I think in Quanzhou, in this Fujian, in Fujian province, they also own some university called Jiran and all that. Also, Ningbo group of Ningbo Financial Group, financial group, and also Qiyun banks and all that. They own quite a number of financial institutions and factories. Now, they might also they actually not they might, but they actually related to OCBC, which is Overseas Chinese Corporation Bank, which is based in headquarters based in Singapore. And this is the reason why I do not want to go to Singapore. It's because when I was working in Singapore, I was always being attacked. There were even one incident when I was working in Sabana. There were people shot me. I think it was a sniper because a long distance shot. I heard a lot of gunshot and literally bullet marks on my feet, but I did not see anyone nearby. There were people screaming and all that. That was in near my office in Sabana 1, which is near Red Hill. When I was walking from Red Hill MRT to the office, they shot me. So this kind of nonsense happened in Singapore. Now Singapore also, to me, to the rest of the world, I do not know. Probably it's a very safe country, in terms of crime rate and all that. Now I do have quite good impression of Singapore in terms of how they manage the country, but not to me personally, because I was being attacked, even by one very prominent business leader and also a prime minister's spouse called Ho Chin. I was being attacked by her in MRT. So a lot of a lot of assault happen. A lot of attacks happen without any reasons. I have nothing to do with Temasek. I never worked in Temasek. I never talked about the corporation before. I actively talk about democracy, talk about human rights, but mostly related to Malaysia. I think the biggest company that I'm talking about is Petronas and all this, Kazana, Petronas. But I'm not talking bad about them. I'm just talking about in terms of law, in terms of ownership. Petronas supposed to actually it's supposed to own by uh, largely owned by Sabah Sarawak because the territory that actually initially opened for the extraction of oil and giving license will actually belong to Sabah Sarawak. The entity is supposed to belong to the Sabah Sarawak sovereign, not the federal government. So I talk about Petronas, I talk about Malaysia company, but I never talk about Temasek and all that. Whether they are Suzhou industrial park or whatever, it's none of my concern, and I don't think there's any problem with them in terms of their investment in China. They lose money or whatever. It's not really not my concern. First of all, I'm not a Singaporean. I do not own any money. I do not invest any money in Temasek. So in that sense, it's really nothing related to me lah. But I do not know why she come and attack me. So something is wrong with her, and not only her lah. There are also somebody who attacked me. I believe belong to Genting, Resort World Genting, and also my father's side of the family. I do not know what happened. I'm now in Thailand, in Bangkok. I already stopped asking help from UK and US because I know they probably will not really help me. Now back to Singapore, I like to settle the Singapore matter first. The problem with Singapore is that Singapore is a small island. It's a small island, no doubt they are very rich in terms of GDP per capita, in terms of the density of millionaire. They are one of the richest countries in the world. But the problem with Singapore is that they limited natural resources. They are not able to be self-sufficient in the sense that they are depending on Johor for water supply. I think roughly around 60% of the water supply in Singapore has actually came from Johor. So they are not independent in the sense that they still depend on the water supply. Of course, they have some agreement with Malaysia, and also they are also depend on others country for fuel. I think now they are 91% of their electricity were generated from this natural gas, and natural gas the liquefied natural gas also imported from other countries. No doubt they do reserve quite substantial amount of natural gas in terms of liquid. They do have I think if you go to Kranji MRT station, you see a huge balloon or huge round storage tank. That is liquefied natural gas that is meant for electricity generations. So they are actually not independent in the sense that they are still depending on others for power supply, for water supply, and without these two essential resources, Singapore cannot function. Their financial center will collapse. Their manufacturing park, the industrial park will also collapse without these two very essential natural resources. Also, in terms of food, I also witnessed how Singapore vulnerable in terms of food self-sufficiency when Malaysia refused to supply them chicken, just refused to supply them chicken. Singapore is already in a mood of panic. The nationwide Singapore is panic because no chickens. They need to import frozen chicken from all the way from South America, from elsewhere in the world. So this kind of vulnerable state, which I do not want to see myself to live in, because that also means that Singapore are not free to talk about other countries. They are not free to express themselves freely, are not free to do whatever. It's not entirely free. And also, true enough, you look at Singapore Constitution reframe themselves from talking about others country, because probably because of their vulnerable state. And of course, also when it comes to freedom of speech and all that, Singapore has quite limited freedom of speech. There literally no freedom of speech as in a democratic world, which I do not prefer. But no doubt I have no problem with Singapore, honestly, despite I personally being attacked. Even I think Mr. Lee Hsien Loong came to Bangkok, look for me, and he also attacked me when I said I want to withdraw from Singapore if I have any asset there. I personally have no problem with Singapore. I like Singapore. Singapore, to many commoner, Singapore is a very decent country, safe and all that. If you do not consider long term, if you do not think about others matter, I think Singapore for commoner, a very safe country. It's a very safe country, very conducive for family to grow up. But not for me, surely not for me, because I've spoken about NEP, which offended the Malaysia government. Uh, and I do not think Singapore can afford to offend Malaysia. So Singapore definitely not a country for me to reside. They are not able to protect me against Malaysia. In fact, I think even Singapore now, they are afraid of Sultan of Johor, the Sultan, the Johor king. So there are many issues with Singapore that is related to me, but I personally have no problem with Singapore. And I also have to tell Singapore that there are also integrity issues with my mother's side of the family, which with Resort World Genting. I wrote some letter to the Singapore government. Now I'm not saying anything, but my advice to Singapore government is that since Singapore have more than one casino, they actually have two casinos. One is Resort World Genting, another one is by Sands. Sands actually owned by American, but the Sands in Singapore actually, most of the staff I think they came from Macau. Even most of the contractor also they actually they import from Macau to Singapore to work for them to construct the building and to run the casino. I used to work with one of the Hong Kong contractor firm that happened to work with the project in Singapore, the Marina Bay Sands projects. But I'm only working for one of the subcontractor in that area, in that project. So Singapore definitely I cannot consider Singapore, not because of Singapore is not good. Singapore actually is good for most people. I would say Singapore, especially common people, I would say Singapore is very good, especially when it comes to professionalism. If you want to learn, if you are new engineers, you are new doctors or whatever, you want to learn, you go to Singapore. Is the best place for Asia people, because they have a very good salary, the pay is very good, benefit is very good. Singapore is safe, is safe for most people, I would say, but not from my family, because my family, the Tan Kaki family, the OCBC family are very influential in Singapore, that they can attack, they can kill people, and yet they have impunity against the law. Because I ever witnessed so many people. One of them is Teka Singh. Teka Singh, I ever witnessed Teka Singh castrate an old man penis in Bedok North, somewhere just in front. Bedok, there's one new complex for swimming pool and all that, library. Just in front of them, there's one Yong Tau Fu shops. And after I went for swimming, I went to the Yong Tau Fu shop, and then I witnessed this Teka Singh, Mr. Teka Singh, castrated an old man penis. I think initially he wanted to castrate me, but he went to the wrong table, and because I moved table, so when I moved the table, I moved to another table. It just happened that the old man sit on the table that I supposed to sit. So he went under the table and castrated the old man. So the old man actually become a scapegoat for me. I so pity. But the thing is that in Singapore, they should not act ruthlessly. They should not act against the law. But yet, despite police came, despite police arrest, but the second day I saw him, immediately I saw him roaming freely on the street. So that means they are actually, he is also immune to law in Singapore, which well, he stay in Chai Chi HDB, very poor area, but I believe they got double identity. You know, he probably own some big bungalows somewhere else. So in Singapore also there are some there are such issues where these top people, you know, they ruling class, I would say ruling class can do away with the law. That's what I experienced. I witnessed myself, and I can talk. But of course, in Malaysia, there are even more. This kind of scene are even more prolific, especially those with Dato title, those with Tan Sri. I ever saw some people, a taxi kill somebody in front of me. There are many incidents. So uh, myself right now is not convenient to go back to Malaysia. Literally, law in Malaysia is not functioning. There are people killing each other, and police are not taking any actions. Now there are what I say, there are two class of people. One is ruling class, another is commoner. The law seems to only apply for commoner. Those ruling class people, it seems like they are always getting away with the law. They have impunity against the law. And as for America, I did spoken a bit about the American dollar, how they depict US dollar with gold. That happened in the year 1971, declared by President Richard Nixon. When the US depict dollar with gold, that is actually not honoring the agreement, the Bretton Woods Agreement, which signed in 1948. Now, I do not want to elaborate on this matter because this is a huge enslavement, a worldwide enslavement program. I will consider as an enslavement program that I do not know whether the US have a solution to it or not. But myself, I'm not a Superman, and definitely I do not want to just to get US citizenship and then uh, help them to resolve this enslavement program, because within the US constitutions, enslavement is actually illegal, it's actually a violation. Now, US used to be a very good country in the 70s, in the early 60s, in the early 70s. US is a very good country, but now it's getting more and more moving toward the communist side, or the dictatorship, authoritarian side, where, as we know, not long ago, there's a person called Snowden. And now Snowden revealed is that there is a program. Actually, there are four programs. There are four programs that the US invested to surveillance the entire world, to tap on your phone, to tap on your whatever communication devices. And I'm not talking about within US, I'm talking about worldwide. That means if I communicate with you in Facebook right now, probably the US is able to detect whether what our conversation is, whether it is a threat to the US or not. So that kind of regime, I will say, definitely it does not belong to a democratic system. This is not a democratic system, because within democracy there is freedom of speech and freedom of expression. I do not think a country should deploy such a large scale, I would say, and humongous scale of surveillance, and also outside their border. It is not only US, it is worldwide. So I do not think this kind of country could be considered as a democratic or free country as what we perceive. No doubt, likewise with Singapore, I look at US. Actually, if you are a commoner, if you want to just live a normal life, I think Singapore, this US, America might not be a bad country. No doubt the inflation, and also because how the financial system formulated, a commoner nowadays, I think be hard for them to climb the social ladder. But that is US. Of course, apart from that, US also got a huge problem of racism. They got race discrimination. They also have this rich and poor gap. A huge rich and poor gap, and so on and so forth, which I do not want to touch. But I actually invited US to help on the NEP issues, because US is the only one that have a military power. What the West have is always use the military power to suppress and to subjugate, which in this context is good for Malaysia, because US can use their military might to make Malaysia, a small country like Malaysia, to listen to them. In a way, they can even colonize Malaysia, I do not mind. but provided they provide a freedom, provide democracy, a true democracy to Malaysia, or freedom, I would say. Because the minority ethnic in Malaysia is not free, it's being colonized by the Malay. And it is not convenient for the Chinese to intervene earlier on. Now I do not know, because now since the Western sphere, none of the Western country, whether it's US, UK, or the European, any European country, refuse to intervene. Of course, they intervene normally. They also want benefit. Probably they can't see the benefit out of this intervention. That's why they did not intervene. Now, most of the time, we see the America went for war to the Middle East, claiming to have mass destruction weapon. But until now, I do not see Iraq, Syria, or any country, Libya, have any mass destructive weapon or anything like that. So it is still very controversial until now. But of course, the international court, whether it's international court, the UN, the United Nations, I think none of them hold the United States account for the attack. So this is a kind of bias that we have. In fact, I do not think it's a bias, but I rather think this is how the world perceives the white people as a superior being or superior human than the rest of the world, Asians or African or whatever. That's why they are adamant about it. We know from King Leopard massacre, I think about 10 million African. It's one of the biggest skill enslavement program. But yet the world do not seem to view King Leopard as a tyranny or something equate to Mao Zedong or this Lenin or this Stalin. So that is how controversial it is. This is how the world, but well, whatever it is, this is how the world works. Those who have money, those who have power, they dominate. They will always have a say, even until right now. So I do not know whether China aware of what I'm talking or not. If they're aware, I hope China do something about it. Now, since now that after more than 5 years, I think I wrote to the US side, the UK side for more than 5 years. I think even before COVID, if I were to count the earliest, it could trace back to 8 years. But then I was very brief because I know about NEP is not fair. So I wrote to US, I wrote to Obama, I wrote to the UK side, I think about 5 years plus. I wrote to them. But they take no actions. They just wanted me to invest more about business rather than really help on Malaysia. When I look at it, there's no democracy. But it's more like anarchy. They openly violate the constitutions, and right until now, none of them give any reply to me. So I do not know what happened. And I am not seeking funds for help. I'm not seeking any help from the Western world right now. I did write to UK, but I do not think the British will help me. I do not think the British is keen to help. Anyway, I have no problem with the British. It is their country. I cannot ask their soldier to sacrifice for Malaysia. And so happen that if their politics, if their political leaders or their leaders do not favor democracy, do not favor equality, probably they also have the same thinking of Malay should be a supreme race or what, then probably they might not want to help to repel the NEP. I do not know, because NEP is literally an enslavement. So that is up to them, because every country has their own sovereign. They can have a discretion on what to act. What I do is I voice up to them, and I have no control over that, how they want to make decisions. But of course, if they do not want to take any actions or any decisions for the benefit of the people in Malaysia, especially the minority ethnic, I believe they also do not have the right to intervene others to help. For example, if I seek help from China, from Russia, from Thailand, from Cambodia, or from any other country for the matter, I believe they do not have a say on the matter. Even UN. UN talk a lot about human rights, but when I talk about uh, on the Western side, how about the Western uh, effect on their previous colony, their former colony, but they are silent. When they talk about that, they are silent. So I believe even UN, they also have some sort of vampire, I call it a vampire, or somebody with a superior power behind the scene. They control. I do not know whether it's they call it Illuminati or Freemasonry or what. I do not know. But whichever it is, I'm not against them. It is up to them if they do not want to intervene. Because my first priority, my first preference or first priority is the America, is the British, so that they can come and intervene and introduce democracy. But they refuse to. So if they refuse to act on it, I think 5 years is more than enough. And Singapore definitely they do not have the power, whether it's military or whether it's any political power to influence Malaysia to change their mind. Uh, so I believe I would have to seek others, others party, others bigger entity to intervene or to help on the issues. And also not keen to I also not keen to go to be an American uh, because I know very well President Trump. If I go to America, President Trump will have a condition, will ask me to resolve their gold issues, their dollar issue, their impact of gold issue. Now, if they want to grant me citizenship, the conditions is that I will not be enslaved. I will not be enslaved by them. I will not do anything for free. If I were to do anything, they will have consultation fees or a fair remuneration, a fair compensation on my work. I will definitely not do anything free for them. This is what I have to say. And the debate of gold is literally an enslavement for the entire world. That I believe anyone who can think critically know what I'm talking about. But I'm not keen to pursue this matter because I know this is beyond what I can do. I'm not American. I'm not really affected by the gold standard. No doubt the whole world is affected by the gold standard in a way or two. But I am not actively against America. I do believe America. Now, if you talk about the whole world, there's no perfect country. There's no perfect country in the world. But America happened to be, I would say, the best options that I can go for in order to seek help for the America to repel MEP in Malaysia, to resolve the racial discrimination in Malaysia. That is what I did. But if the America refused to help, then I cannot force America anything. I also will not attack America. It is not tit for tat. If they do not want to help me, that is fine. And I also do not have obligation to help America in any sense. Whether I'm a citizen, or not, I'm not an American citizen. I'm not a British citizen or any citizen for the matter. They have not given me a passport. They have not granted me any form of a certificate to prove citizenship. Now, the problem with the Western country is that the Western country are very smart in playing tricks, especially mind tricks. They will frame it, they will drama it, in such a way that they already grant me citizenship, but I refuse to go to the country or what. But in fact, I never received any passport from them. I never received any form of document from them to prove they already grant me citizenship. They're only merely talking. Now, even until now, they are very afraid to receive my letter. When I send letter to the British Embassy, when I send letter to the American Embassy, they refuse to accept it. So this is how pathetic it is. It appears to me like they are more communist than China, because China have never refused to accept my letter. I sent letters to China before, they never refused to accept. But the Western country, America and British, they actually refuse to accept my letters. And they even refuse to pick up my calls. I call the embassy, they refuse to pick up. even the UK embassy. So they are playing a lot of tricks. I definitely, it is beyond my game. I definitely cannot play tricks with them. I will surrender. I definitely surrender. I'm just a small fry. I'm just a commoner. I'm nobody. I definitely, when I talk about human rights, you see, I do not want to go to the extent. I do not want to go to the extent that I'm actually going to UK and US to seek help to resolve human rights issues, but I do not want to end up uh, suing them for human rights issues, because I know they do attack people. The American attacked me before, the British attacked me before, so I really do not want, and there's no reason for them to attack me. I do not know what is the reason. Until now, they attack me without giving reason. So I do not want uh, to fight them. Definitely, I'm not American, I'm not a British. I do not want to fight them. If there's a human rights issue, I hope it is remain within their country. They do not spread outside. As long as within their country, I am not American, I'm not British. I will not mingle. I will not binding with British or America or the European countries' affair, internal affair. But please do not cause any trouble to me. Please do not cause any harm to me. If you refuse to help me to resolve human rights issues and democracy issues in Malaysia, then please also do not cause any harm to me. Do not cause any harm to my family. It is okay. It is up to your discretion to know to help, but please do not attack me. Uh, I also have to remind the British and America that I'm not introducing you to Chinese culture or communism or whatever. I'm merely asking you to help in establish this democracy and to this resolve human rights issues in Malaysia. So this is what I want to say today, and I hope my family do not go to US and UK as for now. And I'm also quite actually now free to be friend with anyone, because previously when I seek help from the US and the British, they are talking a lot of things about China, which I do not agree. Even to a certain extent, they want me to kill Chinese people, which I do not agree, because myself is Chinese. It does not make sense. The NEP is to help to resolve uh, the issue, the discrimination against the minority ethnic, predominantly the Chinese ethnic in Malaysia. So it is absurd for me to to cause any harm to the Chinese people, whether in Malaysia or in China. So definitely, I do not know what is the reason for them to. I don't know whether simply they hate Chinese, or they hate me in particular, or what. I do not know. But as even until now, I still like America. I still like UK. I still, if possible, we can be friends, no problem. I do not hate America. I do not hate uh, British. It is probably they hate me or what, I do not know. And I also do not hate the Arab. I only know there are severe human rights issues in Saudi Arabia, but I do not hate others Arab countries like Bahrain, UAE, Dubai, which I worked there before in Dubai. In fact, to me, I have a lot of good experience very happy experience in Dubai. So definitely, I do not hate Emiratis. To me, Emiratis are nice people. The Arabian people, especially in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi, I love them. I would say I love them. They are nice people, very friendly, very the bonding, the community bond is very strong to me. Arab people, in a way, they are more friendly than the Western people or anyone for that matter. But of course, I'm not a Muslim. I'm not a Muslim. I'm not against Islam. If as long as they do not use Islam to against others people, I'm not against them at all. They believe in whatever they want, as long as they do not cause trouble to others' country or to others' people, to others' ethnic. Which I do not see there's any problem in countries such as Dubai. I do not know about other Arab countries. I've never been to others Arab countries. I So far, I've been to Oman, been to UAE, but not others Arab countries, so I cannot say much. But I will say they are nice people actually, they are nice people. So I have no problem, definitely no problem for the UK and America to be friendly with the Arab. I'm not against Arab, but I'm against the violations of human rights mostly happen in Saudi Arabia. This is what I'm against. But there are cases, sometimes there are case by case basis. There are also deprivation of freedom of speech and all that, which I think is not right. But other than that, I think I have no problem with Arab, no problem with them at all. As compared to America, America they actually kill millions of Muslims. They kill millions of Muslims. They establish ISIS. The ISIS were actually established by America, so it's quite contradictory when they establish ISIS to fight the Taliban, and then later on they also fight the ISIS. They're causing trouble in the Middle East, and until right now, I do not see those countries that they attacked, they invaded, living better off than before the attack. So I do not know what happened. What is how the America calculate before they come up with the war, the reason to wage war with those Middle East country. It's actually not a wage war; it's merely attack. So I don't know what's the reason, and until now nobody give any reason, any valid reason, and there's no trial, nobody there to trial the America, nobody there to offend America, including me. I'm also not there to offend America. I'm just a normal person. I just try to live my life. I definitely will not cause any trouble to America. If I got opportunity to visit UK, US, I never been to America before, but if I have opportunity to visit, I definitely would like to visit US. No problem, US. UK I visited before. It's a nice country. It's a very nice country. But again, they might also have somebody that do not like me. Somebody that like me, I do not know. But to me, I definitely no problem with the UK. I like British. I love British food. I love British people. But does not mean they does not mean that they need to grant me citizenship or whatever. If they refuse to, that's up to them. I still like UK, not a problem. I'm okay to be in Bangkok. I'm happy to be in Thailand. Not a problem. I just want to live a normal life as of now. If so decided, uh, if Thailand, if once I now I still do not have my IC. Once I got my ID, I think I have to compile everything and pass on the baton to somebody else to finish off the NEP issues. Because if I'm not Malaysian anymore, then I do not think I have the right to talk about Malaysia issues as an individual. Because individual, I do not think I do not think I supposed to. I have the right to talk about it, but I do not think I want to talk about Malaysia anymore once I got a citizenship of another country. I will leave it to somebody else to talk about it. If there's anyone have any question, can still ask me. I will still do my best to answer. But other than that, I think I have to wash my hand and live it as it is. I have my life. I have my individual life. Nobody pay me anything, and I have life to catch. So I hope everybody understand my stand. Thank you.